presence would I enter now. Into his presence would I enter now. Into his presence would I enter now. Rise above time's laws and walk into eternity a while. This you will learn to do increasingly as every lesson is faithfully rehearsed, brings you more swiftly to this holy place, and leaves you for a moment to yourself. Into Christ's presence will we enter now. Into Christ's presence will we enter now. Serenely unaware of everything except his shining face and perfect love. Into his presence would I enter now. Into his presence would I enter now. Into his presence would I enter now. Well, thank you so much for joining me today in studying A Course in Miracles, workbook for students, and the text. We're reading from the version printed by Foundation for Inner Peace. Here on Lesson 157, Wednesday, June the 5th of 2024. I'm Miracle Willie, forgiveness teacher from the Ozarks. Into his presence would I enter now. This is a day of silence and of trust. It is a special time of promise in your calendar of days. A special time of promise in your calendar of days. It is a time heaven has set apart to shine upon and cast a timeless light upon this day, when echoes of eternity are heard. This day is holy, for it ushers in a new experience, a different kind of feeling and awareness. You have spent long days and nights in celebrating death. Today you learn to feel the joy of life. Today you learn to feel the joy of life. Let's emphasize that word, to feel the joy of life. We don't just want to contemplate it, we want to feel it. And I've got a story, if we have time, I'm going to tell you about later on. This is another about feeling the beauty everywhere. This is another crucial turning point in the curriculum. We add a new dimension now, a fresh experience that sheds a light on all that we have learned already and prepares us for what we have yet to learn. It brings us to the door where learning ceases, and we catch a glimpse of what lies past the highest reaches it can possibly attain. It leaves us here an instant, and we go beyond it, sure of our direction and our only goal. Today it will be given you to feel a touch of heaven, though you will return to paths of learning. Today it will be given you to feel a touch of heaven, though you will return to paths of learning. Yet you have come far enough along the way to alter time sufficiently to rise above its laws and walk into eternity a while. This you will learn to do increasingly, as every lesson faithfully rehearsed brings you more swiftly to this holy place and leaves you for a moment to yourself. He will direct your practicing today, for what you ask for now is what He wills. And having joined your will with His this day, what you are asking must be given you. Nothing is needed but today's idea to light your mind and let it rest in still anticipation and in quiet joy, wherein you quickly leave the world behind. From this day forth, your ministry takes on a genuine devotion from this day forth your ministry takes on a genuine devotion and a glow that travels from your fingertips to those you touch and blesses those you look upon. A glow that proceeds, a glow that travels from your fingertips to those you touch and blesses those you look upon. Wow, we want to have that glow that flows out from us, huh? A vision reaches everyone you meet and everyone you think of, or who thinks of you. For your experience today will so transform your mind that it becomes the touchstone for the holy thoughts of God. I'd say that's that telepathic connection we have with everyone. Once we're ready, it starts flowing both ways, to and from. Your body will be sanctified today, its only purpose being now to bring the vision of what you experience this day to light the world. We cannot give experience like this directly, yet it leaves a vision in our eyes which we can offer everyone, that he may come the sooner to the same experience in which the world is quietly forgot and heaven is remembered for a while. As this experience increases and all goals but this become of little worth, the world to which you will return becomes a little closer to the end of time, a little more like heaven in its ways, a little nearer its deliverance. And you will bring it light, and you who bring it light will come to see the light more sure, the vision more distinct. The time will come when you will not return in the same form in which you now appear, for you will have no need of it. Yet now it has a purpose and will serve it well. Today we will embark upon a course you have not dreamed of, but the Holy One, the giver of the happy dreams of life, translator of perception into truth, the holy guide to heaven given you, has dreamed for you this journey which you make and start today, with the experience this day holds out to you to be your own. Into Christ's presence will we enter now, serenely unaware of everything except his shining face and perfect love. The vision of his face will stay with you, but there will be an instant which transcends all vision, even this, the holiest. This you will never teach, for you attained it not through learning. Yet the vision speaks of your remembrance of what you knew that instant, and will surely know again. We forgot it, maybe as a will. That's my name, as a Willie. I may have forgotten it, but there is one in me that's me that hasn't forgot. And he's going to translate what I see into what always is. And we get there by feeling beauty, by feeling goodness, by feeling God everywhere and everything. Practice of forgiveness, which we're going to learn in our text reading, which we're going to go to next, which is in chapter 17, Forgiveness and the Holy Relationship, section 2, The Forgiven World. And another name you might think of this section is The Beautiful World Forgiveness Offers You. Okay, and before we look at that, what's going on around the world from holidays and observances? It's Apple II Day. The Apple II really changed, personal computing power. 1977, thanks to Steve Jobs and his friend Wozniak, or I can't remember his name. Festivals of Popular Delusions Day. If I don't think they probably understand in what we understand, but that, if you're not seeing love, you're seeing a delusion. And my teacher used to say, in order to manifest a body on any level, you have to have some delusion. He understood from the deeper yogic traditional teachings and from the Buddhist teachings that love is all that's real. Everything else is a dream. That's what we're learning in A Course in Miracles. Global Running Day. Good day to take a run. Hot Air Balloon Day. Go fly a hot air balloon. Maybe take a parachute with you and jump out of it. I think my daughter Tabitha did that. Or wanted to. I don't remember if she did or not. She's a skydiver, her and my son Justice. Gingerbread Day. Moonshine Day. Taylor's Day. Veggie Burger Day. I've tried all kinds of different veggie burgers. And I would recommend the veggie burgers that are using whole foods and not, either artificially created meats that are not made from common everyday plants that are easily converted from how they grow to your mouth. Whole foods. Sausage Roll Day. World Day Against Speciesism. I was always thinking, if there's our people that, particularly a lot of vegans are this way. They're really the only ones that have the right to even be speciesism people. But not that I am. But I do think I see the value in not being prejudiced against something just because it's a certain thing. Now, if it's causing you trouble and it's biting you, well, then swatting it might be an appropriate response. But if it's not harming anybody, speciesism would just say, hey, leave it alone. And I've thought about that, in alien races, we understand that there's likely reptilian races that have advanced over millions of years beyond our evolution, and that they're highly intelligent. And if you ran across one of them, wouldn't it be nice to be already prepared to say that you are not favorable to any species, that you accept everyone equally? Anyway, that's what World Day Against Speciesism. And World Environment Day. Bring heaven to earth in your own area of control, like your yard, your farm, your garden, your park, your right-of-ways that you walk during the day, any place that you can do a little to make the place more like heaven. That's why I really encourage people to grow food and plant plants, anything you can to be in nature, because we want to bring heaven to earth. Now, almost speaking of aliens, that's one of the common reoccurring concepts that they all seem to tell when they encounter humans. The story is protect your environment. It's necessary. It's important. It's important for more than just humans. Okay, let's see. Was there anything? Oh, the Northstar Dwarf Cherry out of Edible Landscaping. Northstar Dwarf Sour Cherry. Northstar is a sour Morello type cherry that's very tasty right off the tree. Fruits are large and the stones small and easily removed. Tree is a genetic dwarf, grows less than 10 feet tall, self-fertile, excellent for home and gardens, zones 5 through 8. And those Morello type, that is and the Northstar, it's a Prunus cerasus, where those sweet cherries are the Prunus aviums. So it's cousin. Okay, and let's see. Let's go ahead and let me just tell you quickly the story I was going to tell you. It's about a dream I had shortly after my wife Diane died. And we had made an agreement that we would come back, if one of us died first, we'd come back and give the other one a heading, a direction, some kind of help, And I had a dream one night. It was probably about 6 months after she crossed. And I had this dream that she came and she appeared. I was taking the 6 kids and we were in a boat crossing the Sea of Sanskara. And we got over to the other side of this sea, and she appeared in the boat. We saw her, and she then appeared. And we had this great time visiting, and towards the end of the evening, as we had been visiting, and the kids were so excited visiting her, she said, the kids were all falling asleep, and the innkeeper was going to take care of the children. And she wanted me to take a walk. And as we were taking a walk, I just felt all this beauty of everything I saw. My heart was about ready to burst with beauty. I saw everything so beautiful. And then I saw this one particular plant. It was a green, real beautiful plant. I don't know what kind it was, but she saw, and we were talking telepathically. I could talk to her with my mouth, but she would answer sometime before I even spoke it. And then I realized I could talk telepathically to her, and we communicated huge amounts of information just by thinking about it. Anyway, she said, well, go touch it, because she saw that I was really drawn to the beauty of this plant. It just made my heart just feel like, God, it's so beautiful. I'd never seen such a beautiful green. And when I walked over to touch it like she suggested, she said, oh, very gently. So instead of just reaching down to touch it, I just barely touched the back of it, and the chills went up my spine. And the beauty of the feeling of it, the softness, it was softer than an African violet. And she says, do you feel the beauty? She said, now you're getting ready to wake up from a dream here in just a moment. And when you wake up in your bed in that dream, you're going to still feel this beauty. She says, I want you to learn to feel this beauty for every person, place, thing, and situation. She said, if you can do that, you'll be where I'm at. She said, you don't have to die to be here. She said, I don't want to come back to your world, but I do want you to come to my world. And the way to do it is feel beauty for every person, place, thing, and situation. And then I woke up a moment later in my bed, and I go, whoa, that was a life-changing dream. So that dream's been guiding me 30 years. Well, that's what this lesson is about in our text reading today. The forgiven world. How to find that beauty, how to see it. Can you imagine how beautiful? Okay, so in chapter 17, Forgiveness and the Holy Relationship, section 2, the forgiven world. Can you imagine how beautiful those you forgive will look to you? In no fantasy have you ever seen anything so lovely. Nothing you see here, sleeping or waking, comes near to such loveliness, and nothing will you value like unto this, nor hold so dear. Nothing that you remember that made your heart sing with joy has ever brought you even a little part of the happiness this sight will bring you, for you will see the Son of God. You will behold the beauty of the Holy the Holy Spirit loves to look upon, and which he thanks the Father for. He was created to see this for you, until you learn to see it for yourself. And all his teaching leads to seeing it and giving thanks with him. 2. This loveliness is not a fantasy. It is the real world, bright and clean and new, with everything sparkling under the open sun. Nothing is hidden here, for everything has been forgiven, and there are no fantasies to hide the truth. The bridge between that world and this is so little and so easy to cross that you could not believe it is the meeting place of worlds so different. Yet this little bridge is the strongest thing that touches on this world at all. This little step, so small it has escaped your notice, is a stride through time into eternity, beyond all ugliness into beauty, that will enchant you and will never cease to cause you wonderment at its perfection. 3. This step, the smallest ever taken, is still the greatest accomplishment of all in God's plan of atonement. All else is learned, but this is given complete and wholly perfect. No one but him who planned salvation could complete it thus. The real world in its loveliness will you learn to reach. The real world in its loveliness you learn to reach. Fantasies are all undone, and no one and nothing remains still bound by them, and by your own forgiveness you are free to see. Yet what you see is only what you made, with the blessing of your forgiveness on it. And with this final blessing of God's Son upon himself, the real perception, born of the new perspective he has learned, has served its purpose. The stars will disappear in light, and the sun that opened up the world to beauty will vanish. Perception will be meaningless when it has been perfected, for everything that has been used for learning will have no function. Nothing will ever change, no shifts, no shadings, no differences. Nothing will ever change, no shifts nor shadings, no differences, No variations that made perception possible will still occur. The perception of the real world will be so short that you will barely have time to thank God for it. For God will take the last step swiftly when you have reached the real world and have been made ready for Him. The real world is attained simply by the complete forgiveness of the old. The world you see without forgiveness. The real world is attained simply by the complete forgiveness of the old, the ugly world, the world where pain and guilt seemed real, the world of time, the world where all things pass away and that death seems to be the end of everything that lives. The real world is attained simply by the complete forgiveness of the old, the world you see without forgiveness. The great transformer of perception will undertake with you the careful searching of the mind that made this world and uncover to you the seeming reason for your making it. The great transformer of perception will undertake with you the careful searching of the mind that made this world and uncover to you the seeming reasons for your making it. In the light of the real reason that He brings as you follow Him, He will show you that there is no reason here at all. Each spot His reason touches grows alive with beauty, and what seemed ugly in the darkness of your lack of reason is suddenly released to loveliness. Not even what the Son of God made in insanity could be without a hidden spark of beauty that gentleness could release. All this beauty will rise to bless your sight as you look upon the world with forgiving eyes. For forgiveness literally transforms vision and lets you see the real world reaching quietly and gently across chaos, removing all illusions that had twisted your perception and fixed it on the past. The smallest leaf becomes a thing of wonder, and a blade of grass, a sign of God's perfection. Just feel that beauty in everything and use forgiveness to help you to see this beauty that's everywhere. Paragraph 7. From the forgiven world, the Son of God is lifted easily into His home, and there He knows that He has always rested there in peace. Even salvation will become a dream and vanish from His mind, for salvation is the end of dreams, and with the closing of the dream will have no meaning. Who awake in heaven could dream that there could ever be need of salvation? And the last paragraph, 8. How much do you want salvation? It will give you the real world, trembling with readiness to be given you. The eagerness of the Holy Spirit to give you this is so intense, He would not wait, although He waits in patience. Meet His patience with your impatience at delay in meeting Him. Now there's a good reason to have impatience. Meet the Holy Spirit's patience with your impatience at delay in meeting Him. Go out in gladness to meet with your Redeemer and walk with Him in trust out of this world and into the real world of beauty and forgiveness. Okay. And I am sitting in front of a plant that I'd like you to know about before we sing our song to close. It is a comfrey, which is Symphytum tuberosum, and a lot of permaculturists like to use it for, like in orchards. It's an excellent living mulch, and it's also a bioaccumulator, which basically means that its roots go deep into the soil and brings up nutrients, and then as their leaves decay on the surface, they release those nutrients that were deep into the soil. Now they're on the surface for other plants that don't have as deep roots to use. So comfrey. I have these little pretty little, there's only just one little blue flower. There's usually a little pod of them, but here's a couple right there. I hope you can, I probably can't see them, but let's see. There's a couple. Well, I dropped one of them. It was just a little delicate flower. Anyway, comfrey. his presence would I enter now. Into his presence would I enter now. Into his presence would I enter now. Rise above time's laws and walk into eternity a while. This you will learn to do increasingly as every lesson faithfully rehearsed brings you more swiftly to this holy place and leaves you for a moment to yourself. Into Christ's presence will we enter now. Into Christ's presence will we enter now. Serenely unaware of everything except his shining face and perfect love. Into his presence would I enter now. Into his presence would I enter now. Rise above time's laws and walk into eternity a while. This you will learn to do increasingly as every lesson is faithfully rehearsed brings you more swiftly to this holy place and leaves you for a moment to yourself. Into Christ's presence will we enter now. Into Christ's presence will we enter now. Serenely unaware of everything except his shining face and perfect love. Into his presence would I enter now. Into his presence would I enter now. Into his presence would I enter now. So let's learn to see the beauty in every person, place, thing, and situation, and not just see it with our eyes, but feel it with our hearts. Let's feel that love for everyone, for everything. Be what's it? National Species Day? World Day Against Speciesism. Let's not have anything that we're not willing to see God's love in and feel it. Feel the love, the beauty, and leave this world by feeling it. And our word for peace is out of the Batak language of Indonesian. It's Pardamean. 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 Into his presence would I enter now. Pardamean.